So one of the most common things preached by people with anxiety is this idea of distraction. Distract yourself. If you're struggling with anxiety or if you're feeling anxiety, distract yourself. Do something. Go read a book, go journal, go use one of those rubber band thingies. Whatever it is, distraction, distraction, distraction. If you can distract yourself, you won't feel the anxiety. What I want to talk about in this video is why distraction actually doesn't work, and it can actually lead to long-term consequences. And really, the way out of this is actually a lot more simple than you think. So if you're struggling with anxiety and you're trying to use distraction, but you may notice it's not working out and you're not able to get the recovery leaps that you need, pay attention. By the end of the video, I'm gonna really show you what to really focus on to make your anxiety recovery journey so much smoother. So let's get started. So one of the things I always ask individuals that are struggling with anxiety that want to work with me is, what are you doing to fix your anxiety? And what I often find is a lot of these individuals say, well, you know, when I'm driving and I have anxiety, I try distracting myself. I try eating something, drinking something, playing music. I try to go for a bike ride. I try to journal. And I just try to do whatever I can to not get myself to focus on the anxiety. And I understand this because here's actually the truth. Distraction does work. If you do notice that if you have anxiety and you realize all your physical symptoms, your intrusive thoughts, your derealization, depersonalization, even the emotions you feel, once you realize it's anxiety and you're able to kind of distract yourself, you may notice that you actually do feel a little bit better. However, here's the problem. It's not sustainable. Like, think about it. Every time you experience anxiety, you have to do something. You have to always do something. Like, it must get tiring at a certain point. Like, what happens if you have anxiety and in the middle of the night, in midnight, while you're sleeping? What do? Do you watch Netflix? And like, do you always try to do something to avoid the anxiety? And that's what I want to talk about. Even though distraction works, if you really think about it, it's still a sophisticated form of avoiding anxiety. Now, here's the anxiety paradox. Unlike other things that you don't want to experience, when you avoid, you don't experience those things, right? However, with anxiety, anytime you try to avoid the anxiety, it reinforces the cycle. It's like one of those Chinese finger traps, right? Like, anytime you try to pull away, you try to avoid, you try to resist, it pulls you back in. That's the trick. That's why anxiety is one of those things where the solution is so counterintuitive, and why so many people struggle for so long, because they try to do something and it doesn't work. So they think, okay, maybe I need to distract myself more. Maybe I need to do more. And what ends up happening is by the time they end up talking to me, they're completely burnt out. They're tired, they're exhausted, they're always running away from something. And so to really understand why distraction doesn't work is really, you need to understand the mechanics of anxiety. And the reason why anxiety happens is because you're in this fight or flight response. You have this survival mechanism designed to protect you. And so what happens is that it makes you do two things: run away from something or fight something. Now, distraction is kind of running away. It's also kind of like fighting something because you're trying to avoid the anxiety. That reinforces the cycle. That keeps the cycle alive. That tells your nervous system that, hey, Shaan is still in a threat. We need to still be on high alert mode. This is why distraction doesn't work long term, and it's not sustainable. So the really important thing first is to understand is distraction doesn't work. A better approach, a more sustainable approach, is just allow the anxiety to be there. The goal is not to avoid the anxiety in the moment. The focus is on allowing the anxiety to be there and focusing on what we call long-term freedom. So if you really want to know how does allowing work, how does this acceptance work, what I'll do is I'll put a link down below. This is a link to my private report. In this report, I go more into detail about why acceptance, why allowing works. This isn't a technique per se, these are principles. If you can understand the principles of anxiety, that's how you get out. You don't want to rely on a technique forever because, well, normal people that don't struggle with anxiety don't have a technique, so why should you? So if you really want to know how to overcome anxiety, how to really focus on the solution, check out that link. That link is absolutely free. I'm not hiding anything. This isn't to get anything from you. I'm not charging. There's no secret here. This is for you. This is exactly what I did to fully overcome. This is exactly what I show my clients to fully overcome. And what I want to do is I want to give this to you because I can't help everybody in the world. And as somebody who has recovered, I do feel like it's a responsibility of mine to help others that are suffering as well. So this report is absolutely for you. If you follow these steps, recovery is yours. So the truth is that the line between distraction and allowing is actually quite thin. So what I want to do is I want to give you an example to really highlight the difference. And what you can do is you can use this example and use this in your daily life and your domains of life, depending on what you do, to really see if you're distracting yourself or if you're allowing it. Now, imagine you have two individuals, okay? And they both end up going to yoga because they hear yoga helps with anxiety. Now, one individual, he goes to yoga, and when he's doing the yoga practice, he may be checking in on his anxiety the whole time. So he's doing different yoga poses, but he's still checking in. Am I having the anxiety? Oh shoot, I'm still having the anxiety. Maybe if I still do a little bit more yoga, maybe if I just focus on the yoga and not really focus on the anxiety, it ends up going away. And they constantly keep checking in, and they're constantly fighting how they feel. So they're doing two things, really, if you think about it. They're doing yoga and they're trying to fight these symptoms. They're trying to fight the anxiety. And then by the end of the yoga class, they're trying to check, okay, is the anxiety still there? Oh my God, okay, it's still there a little bit. Okay, I don't know, oh shoot. And yoga doesn't work, you know? What is this person doing? This person's trying to distract themselves by doing yoga and using yoga as a sophisticated form of avoiding. Now imagine another individual. This person says, okay, you know what? I'm gonna be doing yoga, and whether the anxiety is there after or not, it doesn't matter. Right now, I'm feeling really anxious, so be it. I'm feeling these physical symptoms, I'm feeling these intrusive thoughts, I'm getting these feelings of derealization, depersonalization, so be it. I'm gonna do the yoga anyway. And he does the yoga. And after the yoga, the anxiety may be there or not. For him, he never did yoga for the anxiety. This person is allowing it. Now, the idea here is not to do yoga to make it go away. Believe it or not, the second person is on the road to recovery. That person eventually, their physical symptoms, their feelings of unreality, their intrusive thoughts, whatever they're struggling with will go away. It will happen through long-term freedom. Over the long term, they will get fully free. But the first person will always be doing something to avoid the anxiety. They will constantly be going through this loop of trying to do something to make the anxiety go away. The problem is that the first person that does that is constantly reinforcing the cycle too. He's always running away. And because he's always running away, he's always creating that fight or flight loop. He's always constantly focusing on reinforcing the anxiety. So if you really want to know more, if you really want to know in-depth steps, if you really want to focus a little bit more on overcoming and seeing other people that have overcome, I'll put a link down below to my private Facebook group. In this group, I'm posting even more exclusive content that I'm not posting on any other social media platform. I'm doing Facebook Lives, I'm giving people feedback, I'm posting notes in there, articles, videos, to really show you step by step. Hit the link down below. When you do it, it's gonna ask you 3 questions. It's very important that you answer these 3 questions to the best of your ability. We want people to join the group, but we're also very focused on maintaining the integrity of the group, okay? So if that's you, hit the link down below. I'll see you guys inside.